purpose of parables. The purpose of parables. Why did Jesus do that? Now, he says why right there, but I just want us to think about it just a little bit. It's interesting that he used everyday life examples. Now, something I'm going to try to do, I'll try to make bold or make different the fill in the blanks right there for you on the handout. And hopefully, I'll try to remind you for some of those. So use everyday life examples. You know, I think that was so wise for him to do that, so he could relate to people. He could explain the hidden things in a way to be understood. You know, there was times that he tried to explain things to his disciples, the people closest to him, and they didn't understand it. This time he would say, you know, how can I explain heaven things to you when you don't understand these earth things that I'm trying to explain to you? So he understands the hidden things that's been evident since the beginning of the world, and he's trying to relay that to the created. Now, imagine the difficulty of that. He, as being part of the Creator, explaining the hidden meanings for everything of life to the created. How would imagine a painting. Imagine the painter becoming part of his art and explaining the purpose of the painting to the people that's in the painting. Can you imagine the difficulty of that? The painter explaining inside the painting, and they would think, well, where'd you come from? It's like, well, I've always been here. I was there when you were drawn. And they're like, wow. It's just amazing. So you can imagine the difficulty of it is as the painter to explain to the painted the meaning of the painting. Okay? And that's what Jesus is trying to do here. And so he's using parables. He looks at part of the painting. Okay, see that? I'm going to explain everything by using that. And he did that with all through life. And he was just that amazing of a person. And so his goal is for people to be able to apply to their life these hidden things, which is really good. I've told people before, you know, I'm not the sharpest pitchfork in the barn, maybe. And so, you know, I really believe that God intended for all sorts of people, all kinds of people, to be able to come to the gospel. And so he told the gospel, preached the gospel, explained things for everybody to understand. You don't have to have a PhD. You don't have to be the sharpest, brightest pitchfork in the barn to understand. I'm trying to explain things in the simplest ways for you to understand and apply. That's the purpose for Jesus using parables so often. Now to the parable at hand, the sheep and the goats. All right? I thought this was a good one to end on, and this was my plan for the year, to end on this one. Because usually when we have this sheep and a goat choice, we make that decision in life, don't we? We make the decision in life. And what a better time to think about this kind of thing as when you're making New Year's resolutions. Because we need to make resolutions and decisions that's going to help us to be the best sheep we can be. All right? That's our goal, to be the best sheep. We don't want to be a bad sheep, right? And so, I know, thank you for all those. I appreciate bad jokes. So, is Jesus divisive? Have you ever thought about this? We talk about how Jesus is so unifying and how great Jesus is at bringing people together and talk about love. But have you ever thought about this? Is Jesus divisive? Now, I want to look at this passage right here. Matthew 10:34. Do not think that I came to bring peace on the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. Can you imagine how that was received at the time? It's like, what? And this is Matthew 10, all right? So Jesus is well into his ministry when he's said this. I didn't bring peace, I came to bring a sword. And Peter's probably thinking, yes. That probably really rang to him right there, right? And so, but let's read on here. For I came to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies will be the members of his household. He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Strong words, isn't it? Now, we put a lot of focus on family. Rightly so. We put a lot of focus on family here. But Jesus says, don't put so much focus on family that it's more important than me. I'm the most important thing in your life. So is Jesus divisive? Absolutely.